Hi, I'm Mark Cleghorn and welcome to Pose-Tober on the Photographer Academy, and we're looking at boudoir photography and how you can add different ideas into your session to either spice it up or just to add more variety. So every day on the Academy, we're adding one new image in for you, and you can check up here on our YouTube channel to kind of see the same content, but obviously our members get it ahead of time. But the Pose-Tober series is focused obviously on boudoir photography and their kind of how-to, so I'll explain the poses step by step. We can also look at why to add them in, perhaps into your sessions to add that variety. But I'm sure that during the 31 ideas that we're giving you during the course of the month, you're going to be able to take it away, whether it's classic, creative, different moods and styles, different body shapes. You'll be able to actually add in the different kind of styles, as I said. So pose 25 is the seated spread, one of the power poses without any doubt. This is where the subject is sat on a chair. You can sit them on the edge of the bed and so on, but it's easier on a chair. The feet are very wide apart. The knees are fully apart as well. And we're using the hands to push down onto the chair, and the hands are positioned between the legs. That's the most successful kind of pose that I'd encourage you to do. But basically from the text I did, sitting with the feet and knees apart, leaning backwards or forwards, hands between the legs on the knees, or resting behind for support, or stretching above and behind the head. So let's break it down. As I mentioned already, the real kind of strength in this image is with the feet and the knees apart. I like to actually use the hands between the legs to disguise the pant line, the kind of the groin area and so on with it. And it kind of gives the client a bit more confidence knowing that the hands are there. It's also good when we've got the hands between the legs, or at least the forearms are coming across the body more, because this naturally pushes the boobs together and will create a bigger cleavage and hence a more controlled bust. If your subject's got a fuller figure, I definitely do this image where they've got a bodysuit on rather than a bra and pants. And the reason being is obviously gravity is going to take hold as soon as they sit down. And so the stomach or the belly is going to be emphasized more and so on. So again, it's not that I'm not on about celebrating the body shape. I'm really on about kind of selling the concept of the power and making the client feel great about themselves, instead of looking at body and going, I don't like that about myself, I don't like this about myself, because that's natural anyway. As soon as we sit a client down, curves are going to happen. And even with a body fit client, you might find at times that you need to use the arms more to disguise any kind of roll on the side of the body, as you can see here on the left hand side of the subject by the thigh and the hip. And just even using liquify to kind of push that in just a touch, if you haven't used the arm to actually disguise that, will kind of really help the client's confidence as well. When I'm shooting this, I tend to actually have the light from above, as you can see, the light falling onto the boobs. So it kind of gradates by the time it gets to the feet. If you've got the opportunity to use like a seamless color to match in with the lingerie as well, that will really kind of pull everything together, as you can see in here. But in the same kind of breath, it will work equally as well in a bedroom set and so on with it. If you're looking to stretch the client backwards, so in other words, they're leaning away from camera position and they're taking the hands above the head and leaning behind, the perspective of this image is really good, because they're kind of disappearing away from the camera position. It does mean that the feet and the legs are going to be the biggest item visible to camera, which can be good and bad and things. Obviously, with a fuller leg, I would try and disguise those just a little bit more, because again, it's just comments that clients have said to me over, the past 20 or 30 years, to kind of really what they're saying in the viewing room of why they don't buy an image. And that's where we're trying to make it an experience that there's never an image they don't like, in other words. So that's really what I'm trying to achieve. If they are stretching back and the hands are above the head and leaning back away, that means that the groin is fully exposed at that point. So this is a great way to develop it, where you're crossing the legs. So the one leg will cross over the other if they can do it. an older client at times might struggle to be doing that, or somebody who's got some body kind of problems like knees or hip or whatever it would be and things. And when I'm saying as far as the older clientele is concerned, that's just the reality of life, you know. A clientele who's got a fuller figure perhaps can't do the elastic kind of posing we're trying to do with a fitter type of client shape. So again, what we've got to do is make sure that whatever pose we're putting the client in, it's good for them and it doesn't feel that it hurts too much. No pain, no gain, as they say, but just a little bit of pain is better than no gain. Anyway, the seated spread, sitting with the feet and the knees far apart, putting the hands between the legs, pushing the arms together to push the boobs together, and it's going to create you a great seated spread pose. If you'd like to see some more content on the Photographer Academy, simply go over to thephotographeracademy.com, and if it's boudoir photography you're interested in, just scroll onto portrait, then kind of scroll down to boudoir, click onto that, and you'll see a whole host of different kind of topics for you to actually click on to, and any of the orange banners then takes you to the pages where you can actually follow that through to see more of our content.